Welcome to Griffin's Gaming Guides. In this video I'm going to show you where you can acquire all three weapons that you can get in the Root Earth world, which is of course the final world in Remnant 2. You can unlock the Root Earth world once you've taken down at least one world boss in each of the three potential starting worlds, Lasom, Narud and Yasha. You also need to have made sure that you've gone through the Labyrinth, taken down the Labyrinth Sentinel boss and then gone through and had a chat with the Keeper. Now, as you progress your way through, you're essentially going to be picking up strange objects and segments for taking down the world bosses. Once you've got all three segments, you're then going to be transported over to Root Earth by Clementine and the Keeper. Now, in total, there are one melee weapon, one long gun and one handgun you can acquire in Root Earth, with the long gun and the handgun especially being incredibly powerful. So let's kick things off kind of geographically. We'll go after the Hellfire first, which can be acquired on Root Earth in the Ashen Wasteland. What you need to do from the starting point of the Ashen Wasteland biome, go down to the lower level, clear the enemies and then go over to your right. Use the route to get up to the bridge and then carefully drop down onto the back of the trailer of the lorry. Walk to the cab and then carefully drop down again to the deepest section of the crater, where you're going to be able to collect the Hellfire handgun, which is essentially a flamethrower and a grenade launcher that absolutely just annihilates the Meridian grenade launcher, which I'm not very happy with, over on the Somme that you can get in the Great Sewers. This is what a grenade launcher should be. Now, like I say, the Hellfire is essentially a flamethrower. It deals a fair amount of damage to enemies, and it also applies the burning effect very quickly, which deals an additional 366 fire damage over 10 seconds. Very powerful weapon, this one, especially if you level it up. But its main baked-in ability is called Explosive Shot, which fires an explosive round that deals up to 155 damage within 9 meters. So it's a very large AoE explosion. If you're caught up in the middle of it, it will also consider you a target. You are going to get hurt. Now, considering that my maximum health at the end of the game, with all of my armor and all of my gear and everything else that I've acquired, is only 130, taking a direct hit from this mod straight back to the checkpoint for you. So be careful how you fire it. You've got a group of enemies in front of you, send off an explosive shot. Other than that, normal fire, and just essentially cook anything standing in front of you. Next up, we'll take a look at the Decayed Claws, which are a melee weapon you can acquire on Root Earth in the Corrupted Harbour biome once you've survived the ambush in the engine room of the large abandoned ship. Now, once you've taken every enemy down, you're then going to be able to go off to your left, where you're going to be able to come up to an open section of deck with a large route going along the side of it. Walk on the route all the way to the end and then carefully drop down to your right, take a left for a little hole, crawl through. There's going to be the Decayed Claws on the altar at the very back of the path. Now, the Decayed Claws for me are lacking that key ingredient. I've said it in quite a few of the guides. If a weapon doesn't have a baked-in ability, yes, it's got a mutator slot. Yes, it's got a mod that you can put on there. However, it's an end-game weapon. You have to go through to the final world to acquire the Decayed Claws, which for me, they're just nowhere near as powerful as something like the Feral Judgment you can craft with Macabre over in World 13. Once you've taken down the Corrupted Ravager, it's just, they're lacking so much. These things have some serious potential. The claw weapons are designed for getting up close and personal, and for an end game weapon, I expect to have something that's a little bit better than just slash. I want something that's just going to absolutely annihilate the enemies from the previous worlds as we're in the final world. Maybe I'm just being silly. And then finally, we're going to take a look at the Alpha Omega Long Gun, which you can craft with Macabre over at World 13 once you've taken down the final boss in the game, Annihilation. Now, Annihilation is in the Blackened Citadel. You're going to have to take down a very powerful boss called Venom in the Corrupted Harbour before you can go through. Annihilation is essentially a 3-phase fight. With the second phase, it really gave me a headache as you keep flitting between the main boss arena as well as a very red area where the attacks are quite difficult to telegraph. Either way, link below the like button for how to take Annihilation down. You're then going to be able to go off and craft the Alpha Omega, providing you still have the Forgotten Memory, 7 Luminite Crystal and 650 scrap. Now the Alpha Omega for me is a contender for one of the best looking weapons in the game. It looks absolutely stunning, especially when it reloads and the wings come out the side of the gun. Looks fantastic, and its baked-in ability called Beta Ray brands a target for 30 seconds. Branded enemies that die leave a brand at their location. Reloading or swapping detonates brands, dealing 315 damage. Additional brands, which is 3 maximum, on the same target deal 50% damage, and slain enemies then return 5 to 15% of ammo and mod power to the weapon. Now the Alpha Omega, a charged shot fires a burst of 5 energy bolts. Each hit reduces charge time by 0.1 seconds and increases damage by 10% for 1.5 seconds, and that stacks 5 times. So what that essentially means is, the better you are at being accurate while you're hitting the enemies, you're then going to be basically firing a lot faster and hitting a lot harder. If you're good at focusing your fire on a single enemy, that enemy will very soon be dead.
Ain't no escape. I'll gut you, outsider.
Oh, not good.
You outsider.
So that's a look at all 3 weapons you can acquire on Route Earth. You've got, like I said, 1 handgun, 1 long gun, 1 melee weapon. Which is your favourite? Are you going after any of them, or are you just not going to bother with any of them? Out of all 3, the Hellfire is by far the best weapon for me. The Alpha Omega comes in 2nd, and the Decayed claws come in about 5th. But of course, we've shown you how to get them. Using them, of course, is your choice. As is whether or not you feel like subscribing to Griffin's Gaming Guides, which I would very much appreciate. Either way, though, whichever you decide to do, please take care of yourselves out there. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I do look forward to seeing you back here at Griffin's Gaming Guides.